Hey, what is up guys? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to Gran Turismo 7. We have a brand new online time trial to go ahead and tackle for the next 2 weeks, featuring this absolutely beautiful retro Ferrari Testarossa from 1991. However, in a weird decision, instead of being set somewhere in Italy like maybe Sardinia or of course Lake Maggiore or Monza, it's actually set, strangely enough, on the Brands Hatch GP layout in the United Kingdom. A very odd choice, however, this was a surprisingly fun online time trial. Anyway, let's get into the finer details. So here we go then, lap time challenge, Brands Hatch Grand Prix circuit in the Ferrari Testarossa 1991. So it's time to take a look at the finer details. As you can see, as always, the top 3% will net you 2 million credits as well as the gold medal. The top 5% will be a silver medal and 1 million credits. And of course, the top 10% will get you a bronze and 250k. The track is Brands Hatch Grand Prix circuit. Entry period is the 23rd of the 1st, 2025 until the 6th of February 2025. Usable tyres and types are sports hards, wide body is prohibited, nitrous and overtake is prohibited. Regulations and specified car, of course, is the Ferrari Testarossa 1991. BOP is set to low speed. Now in terms of the car used, it can be a garage car or an event specified car. Car settings are once again specified. In terms of the race settings, track limit is normal, shortcut penalty will invalidate your time, and the exact same with wall collision penalty. So it's time to kick things off with some tips and tricks. I'll give you some more generalized tips first before going into the more car specific stuff. So let's begin then. First of all, I fully recommend turning all those assists off, and that might seem like a pretty daunting task given the fact that we're throwing around this retro Ferrari, and of course with it being mid-engined and I guess much more outdated to the more modern stuff, you might think this may be an incredibly sketchy car. This is the thing that really surprised me about the Testarossa and those sports hard compounded tyres, is just how much you can battle it on the ragged edge without it actually ever getting sketchy whatsoever and throwing you into a barrier or of course into the gravel. For some reason there is plenty of performance from this car without it ever really getting any type of sketchy. It does have a couple of moments where it might try and slip the rear end out, but it's nothing that even the most novice player couldn't go ahead and control. Again, I would say in terms of driving feeling alone, this is one of the better, more retro cars in the game, especially in terms of performance and track day potential. General tip number 2 is really a necessary one, and that is run a manual transmission. Now the automatic transmission in Gran Turismo 7 is absolute garbage. For some reason it just places you in the wrong gear at the wrong time and you'll lose absolute seconds over a single lap just by running automatic. It is not worth your time whatsoever. I fully recommend just getting that muscle memory there and going ahead and slapping a manual transmission on. Something that is also quite surprising with this car is that there is kind of minimal gear changes throughout the entire lap here at Brands Hatch. Most of the time you're running gear 3 and gear 4, and really that's about it. There is a couple of occasions where you might have to drop as low as gear 2, but it's only for a couple of seconds, and at that point you're back to gear 3 and then again upwards of gear 4. So really there's not much to do in terms of the manual transmission here. However, if you do have it on automatic, there's a high chance it's going to constantly change the gear and really throw off the balance of the car. So overall I fully recommend a manual transmission. It's not difficult here and it should be quite easy to actually build up that muscle memory with it. Next up, I fully recommend before you actually go ahead and enter the online time trial, you head over to the qualifying time ranking board, go onto the global and just boot up the world's fastest replay. This way you can see what the fastest players are doing and then of course go and try and copy that yourself. You'll probably find you'll save yourself a bunch of time just by doing that. Also, when you actually get into the lobby, you can once again head to the ranking board, go ahead onto global, and then boot up a ghost that is close enough to your performance that you can follow it and essentially beat it. And then just rinse and repeat as you get faster and faster, changing the ghost each and every time. Okay, so it's time to move on and discuss the car that we're going to be using for the next 2 weeks. Now, of course, this is the Ferrari Testarossa from 1991. In terms of the specs and stats, it's got 384 brake horsepower, it's mid-engined and uses a flat 12. Now in terms of the PP rating, it sits at 523 PP with a top speed of 184 miles per hour. Of course we are under BOP though, so that really isn't necessary. However, it's just worth noting that this is a quick bit of kit, especially for the time when this was released in 1991. Now in terms of the car itself, this is some things that I've picked up on whilst using it. It does have a very nice weight to it as well as the handling. Now under the BOP circumstances, of course set to low speed, the car feels absolutely fantastic. I will straight away admit that when I went into this online time trial, I was expecting the car to be kind of all over the place and very uncontrollable, but I would say that it is kind of beginner friendly in the sense it's very much unlikely to spin or break away from the player. So really, even if it tries to, you can definitely kind of, get it back in and really get control of this car. So overall, it is a very stable and easy to drive vehicle. So I would say that really anyone should give this one a go. So now it's time to take you through my personal fastest lap. Now be aware this is very early on in the online time trials life cycle, and this is subject to change over the next couple of weeks. So to begin with, keep it out nice and wide and brake just here as you'd see the second board. Put the car into third gear, lift off all of the throttles and brakes, and then you may need to use a bit of throttle control to bring it in and get the car out nice and wide. Get it into the dip and hit full throttle, and you should have a bunch of momentum pushing you forward. Now here you just want to brake just before the board on your left, one of the rare occasions where you'll end up in second gear, and then rev it out nice and wide once again, up into third, and then keep the car in third gear for this left-hander. Now I recommend after you do this, run up nice and wide onto the curb, but not too much that it invalidates you. And here comes probably my weakest section on the entire track. I really can never get this corner nailed down. It's one of my weakest in the entirety of GT7. However, I go into second gear, I then bring it onto the inside after being nice and wide, and then once again back out wide, ready to accelerate. So up to third gear, and then we've got this long straight section where you're going to be hitting your fastest amount of speed here, up to fourth gear, and then once again you should be able to rev it out all the way in fourth, and then brake at the second board there on the left. Put it into third, bring it out nice to the inside, and then back out wide, and then once again you're going to use the kind of middle of the boards as a braking marker into third gear. Slip the car out nice and wide. It is better if you kind of get the rear to shift there, and here comes the final make or break sector here. Now I recommend keeping it in fourth, brake, and then try and get a nice little cut here. However, ensure that you're carrying momentum as you go out wide. Head back to the right hand side, and then once again get ready to brake at the board into second on the inside. You can do a little bit of a cut here, however you're going to see I didn't quite nail it this time and I did end up in the grass. However, the car was nice and stable. Up to third gear and get ready for the final corner. Now there is a little bit of a kind of trick here, so you put the car into third, bring it out nice and wide, and then loop it back round to the inside of the track. This will save you a few tenths of a second and just allow you to be a bit quicker as you cross the line. And there we go, lap done and dusted. So overall, a very comfortable experience. At the time of doing this lap, it put me P8 overall in the world. However, of course, I'm pretty sure this will change and I will get much quicker over the next couple of weeks, but who knows, maybe even so far it'll be good enough for gold. And there we go, that is the brand new online time trial for Gran Turismo 7 running for the next couple of weeks. Surprisingly enough, I really enjoyed this one, and unlike some of them, I think I'll definitely find myself going back just to improve on my overall time. Anyway, let me know what you think down in the comment section below. I want to give a huge thank you to all of my channel members listed on screen now. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day. Take care guys, peace.